Well, hey, Conway Junior High, it's Miss White coming to you live from the White House, and just bummed that this Flipgrid thing wouldn't work for us. I'm going to try it again if we ever, you know, I don't know, figure out how to get back to school and we can talk about it one-on-one and maybe get on some Chromebooks. But I am going to try it again. I have a lot of teacher friends across the state that have had some success with it. So right now we're going to table it. We're going to go back to some worksheets because I feel like that is a way for you to be a little bit more successful. So we're going to stay with key signatures. It might be nice to just kind of sit with that and review it a little bit more. And instead of just looking at it, and doing some of those baby steps, maybe putting some things into practice. So I've given you 2 days worth of key signature stuff. So I'm going to talk about one worksheet at a time, and then you can use these videos to kind of go back and refresh your brain. So today, in lieu of the Flipgrid, because I've already deleted that off of Classroom, so we're just scrapping that completely. So here's what today's assignment is. And remember, you have basically until March 30th. And then after that, you've got that whole week. So you have plenty of time. Please don't freak out. All right, so you're looking for AMI Lesson 3, and it's identifying key signatures. So now we're moving beyond just kind of talking through it and you having to identify one key signature. Now you are identifying all the key signatures. You're using those tools to see if you can use them consistently in a variety of settings so that you can see whether it's a sharp or a flat. Oh, okay, I can use these rules and I can tell what my key signature name is. So if you don't have your worksheet pulled up yet, you might as well pull that puppy up. It's in Classroom and just follow along while I'm talking about it. Okay, so step number 1 in identifying key signatures is, I'm going to say this 1,000 times, you have to know your letter names. So go back over, review those. Every good boy does fine. If it's in the space, it spells face. Bass clef, good burritos don't fall apart. All cars eat gas. There's a variety of things that you can use to remember this, but you got to get this down, all right? So you have to know your letter lines. That's that first bullet. And then you need to start remembering the 2 things to help you for flats and sharp key signatures. For flat key signatures, you need to remember that the second to last flat is do. And then you just have to turn that flat, whether it's in a line or a space, to its letter name, and that's the key. So simple, all right? Sharps take one more step of thinking, so you do have to have your brain kind of turned on. But for sharps, the last sharp is T. And so you just have to turn that last sharp into its letter name, whether it's on a space or a line, and then think up one more letter name as you're thinking through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay? So remember those 2 rules. Second to last flat for flats is do, and the last sharp is T. All right. Number 2, remember the order of flats and sharps, and I've given that to you with a picture so that you can see how they look, because that's important. It's important to remember what they look like. So I've given those to you so that you can use that as a reference tool. And so the rest of this worksheet for today is you just using what you know. The last flat is, or the second to last flat is do, and the last sharp is T. Changing those to their letter names and finding those key signatures. So I've given you the first one. The first one, that's the key of F. That's a tricky one because there is no second to last flat. So I went ahead and did that for you. So now I'm going to walk you through the next 2. The sharp one with 3 sharps and the flat one with 4 flats. Okay, so if we're looking at this one and we can see that the last sharp is sitting above the staff. Do you see that? That's a little tricky. So that's important for you to think about as you're looking through that. That's sitting on top of the staff. How you know where to place sharps is you're looking for where the box is. Is the box on a line or is the box in a space? Well, this friggin' box is on top of the staff. So what the heck, Miss White? How do I figure that out? Well, guys, go back to your every good boy does fine. If that top line is F, then that means the sharp that's sitting above that top line is in the G space. So now we know if the last sharp is T and that last sharp is in the G space, then we just have to think through our alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What letter comes after G? If someone says H, I'm going to throw something at you. It's A, because remember, it starts over again. So if you figured out that that last sharp is in the G space, you just have to go up one more letter name, and that's the key of A, okay? Now, if I just said all of this and I just sounded like I am a googly-gook speaking in tongues, Klingon language, blah, 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 take a breather. I don't expect you to be a miracle worker at this. This is really just getting these things comfortable with you. So if this becomes something that is impossible for you to figure out on your own, tell me something. You guys know you can always tell me. You can always, you can't text me. I'm not giving you my number. You can always email me. You can comment on Classroom. I've been having conversations with the boys on Classroom all day. Those ding-dongs. Evan's coming up with memes that he can start posting. So you just have to post. I promise you I will see those. And if you've got a legitimate question, I'm happy to help you out. You just have to tell me. Reach out to me, okay? So that first one with the 3 sharps, remember, the last sharp is T. You just have to figure out what letter name T is, and then you need to think up one more letter name in our musical alphabet. That one was tricky because there is no H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. In the musical alphabet, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. It starts over again. All right, so 4 flats. Let's look at that next one. Remember, the second to last flat is Do. So we're not looking at the last flat for this one. We're looking at the second to last one. So go to the end and then back up 1. So the second to last flat is that flat that's on the A space. Do you see that? Okay, not the last flat, just back up 1. The second to last flat is the A space. This is so easy. This is why everybody loves flat key signatures. So this is the key of A flat. Very simple. I love flat key signatures because you don't have to do that extra step of figuring out what's one letter higher. So A flat, pretty simple. Second to last flat, it's in the A space. So this is the key of A flat. Okay? Try to figure the rest of those out on your own. By all means, let me know if you've got questions. So while we're still here, stay with me. I want to talk to you about number 4, AMI lesson number 4. This one is going to require you to access the drawing feature in Google Docs, okay? Because I'm wanting you to use what you know and we'll put it all together, and I want you to actually create some key signatures for me. So I'm not going to go back over all of the things except to say your order of flats and sharps are going to be super helpful to you this time, because if I tell you that I want a key signature with 3 sharps, it's not 3 random sharps, y'all. It's the first 3 sharps that you would write starting on the far left. That's it. You just basically copy paste what you see and put it on the example that I'm asking for. If I want you to draw 2 flats, you don't draw 2 random flats. You draw the first 2 flats that I've shown you on the order of flats. You always start on the far left and start working your way this way. So if I only ask for 2 flats, stop after you get to those first 2 flats. If I ask you for 5 sharps, then you're going to need to write the first 5 sharps, 1, 2, starting at the left and working your way forward. The pattern never changes. The zigzag pattern never changes. You always start with the first letter, and then you just keep moving forward, zigging up, zigging down, zigging up, zigging down, okay? So that's why that pattern is right there, so that you can refer to it often. Refer to it often, okay? So to complete this portion, you are going to use the drawing feature on the insert drop down button. So if I'm in Google Docs, and I happen to be in Google Docs right now, it says at the top, File, Edit, View, Insert. If I click Insert, all of a sudden I have this great drop down menu, and I'm going to go to Drawing, and I'm going to choose New. And the minute I choose New, a whole nother screen pops up that allows me to insert some objects. The line feature is where you will draw your 5 lines of the staff. So just 5 lines. This is where you can, if you're super OCD, then your lines need to be perfect. If you're like me and I just need 5 lines up there, just slap them up there. It's no big deal, okay? And then once you have your 5 lines, you will scroll to the far end, to the right, where it's a little box with like a picture of a mountain on it. That's the image insert. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on that, and you're going to search all the way to the right. It'll bring up a Google search, and you're going to search for things like a treble clef. You're going to search for things like a sharp symbol. You're going to search for things like a flat symbol. And then once you have whatever it is, if you're doing flat key signatures, you're just going to need the clef and the flat. Then all you have to do at that point is drag those puppies onto the 5 lines that you've already created for your staff, and then drag the drag the flats to the specific spot according to the picture. All right, so this may mean that you have to kind of go back and forth, so you may want a couple of different documents open so that you can do that, but this should not take you very long to do, because you're not recreating anything other than the picture that I've already provided. This is where a lot of students get confused, because they think they just have to pull this stuff out of thin air. You do not. You are exactly using the image that I have given you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get out of here and reread for you the words that I've put on there. Okay, to complete this portion, you will use the drawing feature on the insert drop-down menu. You will complete 3 drawings of 3 separate key signatures. Okay, so there should be just 3 drawings at the end. You will need to include the following 5 lines. Okay, just treble clef. You can use the bass clef if you're living dangerously. Some of you are like, I got this with what? Whatever. Okay, and then the specified number of sharps or flats perfectly placed on the staff. Now remember, you can't just throw these puppies up there. That's why I have a picture to guide you. That very first flat that you do, regardless of whether I've asked for 2 flats or 7 flats, that very first flat has to be exactly where my picture is, okay? You have to put it exactly where it is. So that means that line, the B line, has to be going right through the belly of that flat. If you're doing sharps, that very first sharp you draw has to be on that top F line, and the line has to be going through the middle of that sharp. You have to be pretty specific with stuff like that, okay? And then I've told you, you can use a line feature for the 5 lines, and then you'll need to do an image search for the clef and flats or sharps. After you've got one symbol, y'all just copy paste. If I've asked for 5 flats, don't go searching for 5 flats, just copy paste, and then you've got extra flats that you can drag around, okay? Then when you're finished with your drawing, hit save and close, and then it inserts it beautifully like the one that I drew below, okay? So this is a really simple feature for us to use so that you can show me some good work that you're doing. And again, if you've got questions, please just let me know. I am here for you. I've been putting puzzles together. I have been wrangling dogs. I have vacuumed my floors more times than I ever vacuum. Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting on my computer waiting for y'all to ask me questions. So ask me questions. This is what I'm here for. I miss you guys. I wish I wish Flipgrid would work. Just so that we could do more interaction, but I'm not giving up on it yet. Hope you're having a great quarantine, and yeah, hope to hear from you soon. Bye.